My relationship to Wendohome is my mum, Leslie Forrest, used to come here every Christmas for the whole duration of the holidays and spend it with her whole family, my grandmother, my grandfather, her two brothers, Dennis and Lloyd, all her cousins, probably from the mid-50s till like 1965. I never actually came to the Batch, I wasn't born then, so I've sort of cobbled together all the stories that my mum's told me from herself obviously and from many photos that I've pored over the years. My mum's family lost all of their photos in a family fire in Lincoln Road in Henderson in 1955, so I don't have that many of her as a young person. These are my grandmother's photos that I've inherited from my mum. When they used to come here every year, my granddad had a very big looking car, 1950s, 1960s car. And from what I could make out, they would just drive right along the peninsula, come and park their car like right here in front of the steps, unload all their stuff, put it all over the lawn from what I can make out in the photos, and come on into the Batch, and yeah, with the cat as well. Here he is on my Uncle Lloyd's lap, Wendohome beach cat. The Forrest family, my grandfather, Ken Forrest, was a really well-known lawyer in Auckland, and they somehow came to have use of this Batch. I don't believe they built it, but was known as the Forrest Batch. They didn't actually own the land as far as I know, so it would have been through the Caldries that gave them permission. It was in the family for a long time. So I think the first time that she came here was when she was around 10, which was in 1947, but I don't know if the Batch was here then. The main time that they were here, I think, was when she was sort of late teens, so in the 1950s. The photo is of my mum, and she's with her brother Lloyd, who's her younger brother, and it looks like it's probably a family friend of my grandparents, who she was very close to. They had lots of friends and they all kind of looked after mum because of her disability. She had cerebral palsy, but she didn't let that stop her. She was a fit, active, healthy young woman who enjoyed the sun, swimming, hiking, she did it all, and this was the perfect place to do it. From this Batch here, from these steps, she would have had a few steps down there, plonked into the river, or they could walk around the peninsula to the right here to swim at the beach, and then they would also do daily walks up on the ridge up behind us, great big walks. She was very proud of that. She could do it all and loved this beach life and loved the outdoors. So my mum and her friends and cousins, they all wore the classic sort of 1960s pin-up cover girl sort of swimsuits, you know, sort of the boy cut pant and stuff. No hats, no sunscreen. Yep, my mum was a very brown little berry. Yeah, so there's a beer bottle here embedded in the steps. Oh yeah, look, there's the edge of it. Lion red, maybe. I reckon it would be about 7 or 8 steps if you were running into the sea from the steps, from their steps. Across the river there is the Shishka Batch, which my mum mentioned to me a few times, but I don't know if they were actually friends, but I presume they probably were, and it's only accessible by boat, so given that my grandfather had a boat and was quite a friendly chap, I'm guessing that they probably toodled over there. I think with a photo, as opposed to what we have now, it's like you have to, you know, I've spent a lot of time looking at these photos and looking for little clues and, you know, zooming in on them and stuff, and, you know, you have to imagine what's going on in that snapshot in time. So yeah, they're pretty evocative, these photos. You can get a lot out of them if you sit and look at them, and I often go back and visit them if I want to reconnect. So this here looks like maybe it's the old jetty, because in the White's aviation picture that I've got there is a picture of a jetty that seems to have come out here. So I'm presuming that it's the jetty that my grandfather would have launched his little boat off. Yeah, my grandfather had a little classic 1950s boat which they had here, and they went fishing, and then they'd also hopped on it maybe on a Friday or a Saturday night, launched off at this jetty here, which is a couple of metres from the Batch, all hopped in it and zoomed down the Puhoi River here. It's probably about 10-15 minutes to the Puhoi pub, and come back in a very jolly state, no doubt. My mum just really loved being here, of course, and always talked about it so fondly in her later years. Lazing around all day, swimming and chatting with your cousins and friends, family, whoever were here. Eating, swimming, living the good life.